Good morning, everybody. It's Josh from Topkin, Maine. I did notice that the Bangor Daily News dropped their article, and I wasn't surprised to find out that my words were taken out of context, and they conveniently omitted some things that I had conveyed to them in our discussion. So, this is my rebuttal video, I guess. I didn't get to see the whole thing, I've just seen snippets, but I did see where they did mention the 72-hour waiting period, the new law that's going to take effect August 9th. I was quoted as saying it's going to make it tougher for individuals on this side of the counter. It had nothing to do with the 72-hour waiting period. I was going to say, what I was trying to convey was more pressures put on us behind the counter here. We are the final stop, I was going to say, for the ATF, FBI, law enforcement in general. When you come and you fill out your background check and we run it, we are essentially profiling you on this side of the counter. We have to. We're looking for any signs of possible depression or, I guess, anger or any cues that might give us any indication that you might be willing to self-harm or harm others. That's on us. I was going to say, we're the ones that are here face-to-face with you and making that final call. We are even given the power that even if you get to proceed on your 4473 background check, if we feel that there is something not right, we have the power to deny you and not give a reason why. That's what I was conveying. So there's more pressure on this side of the counter on us as the individuals that are going to be transferring your firearms than there is on, I guess, actual law enforcement that's out there. We're the last line of defense. That's what I was trying to convey. 72-hour period. There has been no guidance yet. They are still working. I will give the sponsor of the bill, Peggy Rotundo, credit for actually keeping correspondence with me, even though we disagree on the law itself and the bill. I will give her credit. She has corresponded with me. She has reached out trying to get guidance from the state, so I will give credit where credit is due. I do think it's wrong that lawmakers can write a bill without having to write the implementation. So they write the bill with no meat and they pass it on to departments and make them responsible for coming up with the guidelines and then disseminating it to the proper people. I feel that on its face is wrong. I think if you're going to write a bill, you should have to write how you're going to implement it and how the guidelines should be. That's neither here nor there. We're stuck with what it is. But like I said, I'll give her credit for corresponding, and she is trying to get that information out, so kudos to you for that. I do feel, and she said that they weren't, she wasn't coming up with the 72-hour bill for votes or for haste. I disagree. I think, they have tried to introduce it before, so I'll give credit on that, but I think to push it right after the unfortunate events in October in Lewiston, you can't tell me that it wasn't. It's clearly done that way. And also, if it's to prevent suicides, Maine has passed the Death with Dignity Act. So if you're against suicide, you're against suicide wholeheartedly. And we shouldn't even have that bill on the books, but it is a law, and you're allowed to have assisted suicide in Maine. That's a whole different discussion. So yeah, most stories that they left out conveniently about the ATF and FBI. So I guess I'm kind of whistleblowing on this, but I think it needs to be conveyed to the public because they want to keep pushing more laws and they don't even do anything about the laws that are on the books. Now, their hands may be tied at times. I get it. If you're going to do things in the states and in court, you gotta have all your I's dotted, your T's crossed, and you gotta have a good solid case for anything to happen. So I get it may be on their end that they just don't have enough, and that means as a country we're failing them in a sense to be able to do their job. But I've had a scenario where ATF was investigating. I'm not going to mention names because I can't do that. That's against the law, but this is the scenario. So investigating possible straw purchases where someone's buying a firearm, not for themselves, but in the event to resell it, possibly for profit, or they're just doing it to get people that possibly can't purchase firearms legally. They're doing it for them, and that is illegal. They did reach out that they were following up on somebody, and they were investigating. That individual ended up coming into the store. They did come to talk to them. Spent about 45 minutes either interviewing, discussing whatever with them. That individual did get a proceed to be able to take the firearm legally, and they did allow him to leave with the firearm. Now, if they were actually investigating and they thought that he was doing straw sales, why would he be allowed to take the firearm? That just tells me that they can't enforce it. They know he's doing it. Their words were, hopefully now that he knows we're watching him, he won't do these actions. Well, that's a farce. He's continuing to do these actions. I know he is. And there's nothing that we can do because he gets a proceed. Technically, we're supposed to transfer it. If there's no issues of self-harm or anything like that, what do? Like I said, they're the authority to enforce that, and they allowed him to leave with the firearm. That also tells him he can purchase more firearms. So, that's an abject failure. We've also had a case where an individual applied for a firearm, got a delay, not an instant proceed, a delay, and then they never came back with a response. I don't know if individuals are aware of the Brady transfer law, but within 72 hours, 3 days, if there's no response from the FBI in the state of Maine, we're allowed to transfer a gun. Before this new August 9th LD 2238 takes effect, we're allowed to transfer it. So we did. And then the individual came back and bought another firearm. This time he included some things where he got an instant proceed. Weeks later, FBI called and said that the first gun that he was allowed to take due to no response, that he was denied and that we had to get that firearm back. Now me, knowing that there's no gray area, you're either allowed to possess firearms or you're not, I let them know that the individual had gotten another one, got an instant proceed, and that he had two. Do I need to get them both back? The answer should have been yes, because you either are allowed to or not to. They told me no. I was only getting the first gun back. He was allowed to keep the second. How is that possible? Again, you were allowed to have firearms or you were not. That was from the FBI. They couldn't give me a reason why they were only requiring the retrieval of the one firearm. And that is the honest to God truth. I don't know why the Bangor Daily News decided to omit it. I think that's another abject failure by them to let the civilians know what's really going on. We can put all these laws out on the books, but if there's no enforcement on the ones we currently have, what are more going to do? They're feel-good laws. They're for the people that aren't pro-firearm. It makes you feel like they're doing something, and they're not. And this is why nothing changes. I did post on Facebook about Sean Ryan. I did sign his petition about how people always want to blame and complain and bitch and blame other people, but they never want to hold themselves accountable and do anything. We need to make a change here. We need to hold people accountable. We need to not allow more laws and infringements when they don't even enforce the ones that we have on the books. Along with Facebook and YouTube, we're getting really egregious censoring from both those platforms. I am pushing people to make the switch to Rumble or Truth Social, and I get it. Some of you are going to look at Truth Social and go, oh my God, it's Donald Trump's app. Politics aside, that is a platform where you can post what you want. There's no censoring. Why wouldn't you do it? You don't have to follow Trump. You don't have to like Trump. I'm not asking you to, but I'm asking you, let's put these companies on notice. Let's do what we did to Bud Light. Let's prove to them they don't run us, they don't control us. We're in control of our own images, our own videos, our own things. I mean, obviously I get the whole privacy thing where if it's out in public, they're going to have access to it. I get that. But we're in control of our content. We're in control of what we want to watch. We're not going to allow these places and these companies to censor us and to allow other things. I'm not trying to be that guy, but on YouTube, we can't put our videos, but there's gangbangers in Chicago showing themselves shooting at houses, and those videos are up. How upside down is this world? All right, that's enough of me complaining. Lastly, I just want to let you know, so we do have some Mantis stuff here for sale. We do have a Blackbeard set up in one of our AR pistols. If you come in, you certainly can play around with it, try it. We're not using it with the app, but I can go over things with you. It's kind of cool. This is the setup right here. I'm not showing anything for sale because that's the price of the firearm, but that's the Mantis setup. Whoop. And it's very fun to play with. Let me see if I can get a better angle of it. There we go. So we do allow you to play with that. Obviously in a safe manner. We still follow all universal safety rules, even with guns that aren't loaded. We treat every gun as it is loaded. That's one of the rules. But yeah, I just wanted to convey to you guys what I really did say. I'm not in favor of the 72-hour law. I'm just waiting for guidance, and I hope it's not going to be like some other things that the state has come out and passed where it's been out for a year or supposed to be in effect, and there was no guidance issued for a year or two, and it's just a free-for-all. I'm praying it's not like that. I pray that there's actually going to be some sort of injunction and that the 72-hour period gets overturned.